Good everyone, good today's video. Today we have a Talisman Series flyout and D4Y2. This one's been a little bit delayed because obviously we've had quite a few other talismans to do and everything, and Japan's just been pushed back, and I feel bad for Japan. So I don't care that I've recently got a talisman on the MiG 334. That is going to wait until I see fit. I just want to get through Japan first because, well, Japan's been it's taken too long because we've had so many new talismans, as I've already mentioned, and, well, it doesn't seem fair. So the D4Y2 is, well, its allied reporting name is Judy, just to begin with, if anyone's curious about that. And this variant is the only D4Y that carries rockets. However, as you can tell, we are not taking the rockets today. We are taking the two 60kg and the single 250kg bombs. Reason why I'm doing this is I tried the rockets. They're not very effective. Personally, you literally have to hit an aircraft bang on to do it, and my aim with rockets is debatable, especially if I'm not used to the rocket. Although the Swedish rockets would have a word about that. But at least we can still use this thing as a makeshift fighter if we absolutely have to. So the D4Y2 does have some offensive and defensive armament. The defensive armament we're not really going to discuss because we're not going to be using it. But the offensive armament is what we're going to be concerned about. So we're armed with two 7.7 Type 97 machine guns. These are very familiar machine guns. I don't really need to mention them. And we get access to universal ammunition. That's all I really need to mention. We get 400 rounds per gun. They're reasonably effective as long as you buzzsaw your target. But we're not going to be taking down things like yaks and all that rather quickly. But to be fair, I think we'll do fine regardless. I know how to lead the 7.7s pretty well, and I've always liked them. They're well, most of the time they've got a lot of ammunition to start off with. 400 rounds isn't a lot, but I can work with it. Then of course the turret 7.7 will have set to AP shells, just because this belt to me, because it's got an immediate action incendiary, this tends to set fires more often, albeit very rarely, but certainly more often than APT or default. Then obviously with our bombs, we have the single 250 as I mentioned, which actually has more explosive than the semi-armor piercing 500kg bomb. And then of course we've got a couple of 60s just to back us up. Now we do have air target rockets, but I'm not going to be using these as mentioned. They only have 600 grams of explosive filler. They're not very good, and personally, I would rather take the bombs. Because at least that way, even if we don't get many air kills, we can at least use the bombs and get the tickets in our favour. So, let's get started. So like I say, I've kind of neglected Japan, because obviously we've had so many new talismans from other nations, and I just don't think it's fair to keep Japan on the sideline anymore, because obviously I want to get into China, because China's got a lot to get through. Then we've got Italy, then France, and then we'll finish up with Sweden for the Talisman series. And obviously, if we get a new nation this coming Christmas, which I think we will, that'll obviously go into that nation if we get any talismans there. But anyway, I'll see you all in the first game. Well, we got a first game, and we're on Battle for the Rhine. This map is relatively alright. That means we should be fighting allies. Although we might be fighting Russians, but it's unlikely. I reckon we'll be fighting just most of the allies. So let's take a look. Yep, we're fighting allies, so that's fine by me. That means we will be fighting Sweden, but to be fair, I don't mind fighting Sweden in this thing, because at least I can turn with the buggers. The D4Y2 is surprisingly agile, and it's also very fast with a decent climb. So once we get rid of our bombs, because we can't really kill a tank on this map. I mean, we can, but we'd have to drop it literally through one of the hatches on the tank. But okay, looks to be a BR30 match. Yeah, it's 3-0. Right, let's climb up. Let's go 15 degrees. That is the gun sight that is provided for this aircraft. It's very unusual, but I suppose it works. So the plan is we're just going to drop wherever our friendly bombers don't. Because at the end of the day, we're not going to be able to kill a base anyway. Our bomb load is pathetic compared to these guys. What the hell is that Betty doing? Right, buddy, I get it. It's a Japanese aircraft. But she's not a drift car. She's not a flipping Toyota Supra modified to drift. Like, come on. I mean, it is a Mitsubishi, so you could probably say it's an Eclipse or an Evo. But, come on. And that's why you do plane commentary with a car guy, because at least I know what I'm on about. Looks like there's no enemy bombers, so we're going to level out here at 16,000 feet. Yeah, I think we'll drop on the... What's he dropping on? He's dropping on, I think, mid? So we'll drop on the left if no one's going for it. Because I don't think the Betty has enough for it. Two tangos there. Looks like we might actually have a bomber, but... In fact, no. I'm going to drop on the right-hand base just to get rid of it soon enough. I'm not sure which one he's marking. I think he means right, so we're going to go mid. In that case. Both of mine. Well, I'm going to drop anyway. Are you blind and or deaf? These guys are already started chat. I'm going to love it. Alright, we'll open up the bomb bay. Now, there is a slight release delay with this bomb in the bomb bay. The wing bombs don't have a delay. But I thought I'd just point it out. We do have a slight delay. So, in fact, what we're going to do is we're going to drop the 60s on the right base, because obviously that will barely scratch it. And then we'll drop on the mid base with the 250. And there we go. Bombs out. That's the thing about the D4Ys, is that they have an awkward bomb dropping sequence, but if you're used to it, you can make it work in a dive bombing role, but to be fair, we're not going to be using it as a dive bomber. It's time to go fighter mode. Okay. Air brakes, because we do get air brakes. Very nice feature to have. What's this? D520. I'm surprised that didn't kill you. First off, buddy, no, you're not going to force an overshoot, and second, you are screwed. Because the Judy turns better than you. So with the coolant damage that we've done, I can hear something else. That's the 111. Although I get a bad feeling that something else is going to be joining this fight very shortly. This guy at least knows what he's doing, but the T520 will not be able to do what I can after a while, because obviously he's took damage. His best hope right now is to dive, and I think he's doing that now. I get the bad feeling I'm not alone. Right, don't do a flight and leave your flaps down, because otherwise he can actually outrun us. If you don't know about that story, just ask Fly, he'll tell you. We take the piss out of him still. I've put down the air brakes just to control my speed as I go towards this guy. Okay, you can take the head on with that guy, I don't care. Right, air brakes in. And that's an engine fire, sweet. I'm being shot at by a friendly and nearly a P40. You just love that when your teammate tries to freaking shoot you. That's an air kill. Kill number one. Then we've got a break. He shouldn't have a shot. No, he did. I didn't expect him to have a spot. A spot. A shot. You get what I mean. He knows his craft. I've got to give him that. And we're pretty badly damaged. We kind of need the help right now, but we're just going to have to keep it going for a bit. Just going to have to hope that the 7-7s can actually do something. And there's a bit of toxicity in chat right now. There's a bit of go fuck yourself and stuff like that, but oh well. How good the team's here, I kind of need them to be. And he just did a day Taurus. And that's a Wildcat, that's a problem. Especially with the damage that I have. Because the engine's barely hanging on as it is. I've got to watch that Wildcat. Oh, where's that Wildcat? He's going back up. I ain't got long to deal with this P40 before my engine conks out. Ah. He flipped it round. Yeah, well. Well, that wasn't the best start. So, unusually for me, I'm actually going to do 2 games in this bird since, well, that didn't go too great for us. So I'll see you all in the second game. Well, you joined me on the second game. Obviously, the first game didn't go too great, but that's no biggie. I checked the server replay. For what I've been able to work out, the P40 didn't make it back. Looks like a teammate managed to finish him off, so that's always something. I mean, with the 7-7s, they are debatable at best when it comes to their damage, but at least we managed to get something out of it. That's all that matters. Okay, what are we at? Looks like it's 3-7, we got an A673. Okay, I'll take that. The problem is with the D4Y is that I would love to have some different armament for it. I had to laugh though, those guys go and hammer at each other in the chat. They were salty as hell. Like, Jesus. Right, well, we're fighting the Chinese, the Swedish, British and the Russians. No Americans, which is surprising. So for China, this BR, we might see a Key 44, maybe a Key 61. That's fine by me. Someone wants a T2. What's he flying? He's flying a D4Y2. You're gonna be there a while, buddy. Most sexy plane in game. Okay, that is just weird. I don't want to know that guy's search history. By the way, I was actually thinking about another model of the D4Y. There is a model that was a kamikaze variant and could carry a 800 kilogram bomb. Well, the early ones had the 7-7s like what we have on this plane, but they didn't have a rear gunner. And to be fair, that would be beneficial for the aircraft because, well, the back gun is useless. Let's be real. I mean, it's a single 7-7. It's not going to be doing much anyway. I only mainly use the back gunner in this thing to pop ground targets. That's really it. Because obviously we've got pretty decent, like we've got good depression over the sides, and I can just roll the plane like that because it's got a great roll rate. So that's just how I would personally want it. Like, I would rather lose the back gunner. I probably could have taken the rockets for this battle. But, yeah, never mind. That's a big Sven, and I don't want to mess with a big Sven. He's probably going to try and pull up, which is going to be a concern. Yep, he's already spraying at 0.9 of a mile. If there's one plane I'm not going near, it's that. You'll notice as well this aircraft has quite bad overheating. Yeah, that comes with it, which when this thing first came out, it wasn't actually that bad. Are those Wellingtons? Oh, I feel bad. Right, oh, is my bomb door open? Yes, it is. Okay. There we go, that's everything out. Are these guys squatted, or are they just flying in formation? I'm going to try and target the tail gunner on both of them. There's a good reason why I'm doing that. Because if I take out the tail gunner, I can engage the aircraft pretty much freely. And given these are 1C late, I can at least engage them safely, like that. That's the best way to take out a Wellington, is to take out the back gunner, because it has no armor, and then go from there. That's the best advice I can give. I'm just going to have to watch my temps though. Here we go, engine fire. Although some dickhead's coming in to steal it, looks like. Because there ain't a day in War Thunder where I get a kill stolen. Go on there, douchebag, since you want to steal, and he didn't even get it. That's 2. Did our bombs hit their mark? Yes, they did. And that's a Yak 9, possibly an M. Okay. Oil's overheating, so I'm going to have to cut the engine briefly. Yeah, that's the best way to take out a Wellington. That's the way I do it. I always target tail gunner first. Alright, J22. That's my teammate there, that's what I was hearing. And it's a 22B. Okay. Come here then, sweet cheeks. Oh, locking up, that's the rudder. Don't fly in front of the guns of a J22, it will not end well. Come on, guns, I need a fuel fire. Or that, I'll take it. That's another frag down the drain. Kill number 3. And that's a B-18, and I've got barely any ammo. I don't really want to go near that, but I've not got a lot of choice, because I've got to go back to base. He has been hit by flak, but I know how aggressive those little bastards can be. Hell, it's all Bullseye Pete ever flies on the Discord. Yep, he's coming in, so I'm going to pitch up. Now, Big Sven can pitch, but not as well as this thing can. Big Sven's a good pitcher, but it will not pitch as well as a Judy can. Not in a million years. I'm trying to target the tail gunner, but there's not a lot I can do against that thing. Especially with only a few pew-pews left. Because one hit from that gun, that doesn't bounce off like his first shot did, and I'm dead. Simple fact. Oh god, that's a P63. That'll be an A5. We're probably dead here, so I'm just going to take the head on, because I don't care at this point. Crit. We're down to 22 rounds. But here you can see, this thing is just struggling because of the overheating changes and stuff like that from a couple of years back. I don't think you realise that that thing has a... it's 37. But yeah, when you've got 2 P-18s and a P-63, there's not exactly a lot you can do. And I mean, look at the team. They didn't really do a lot. But fair play. I mean, we're not going to get the most amazing battles, but to be fair, given that this plane really isn't the most suitable for that sort of role, I think we did okay regardless. But like I say, this aircraft is fun and all that, just to muck around in, but it certainly could be better. That's for definite. I certainly think if I was to take a 2.7 Japanese aircraft at this BR, there's only one I'm picking, and it's the Key 44 too high. This thing's incredible. Like, I love this plane, and even then, if we go into premiums, here's Japsair. I'm taking Japsair. This is what I'd prefer to fly. Or even the Key 61 Co. Because the trouble is with the D4Y, it's just not my cup of tea for playing as like it can play as a fighter as we've seen, but for the most part, Axis teams at this BR get slaughtered because of Sweden, and just in general, it's just harder to play him. So you can sort of understand where I'm coming from in that regard. But that pretty much concludes the video here. Obviously, we've got the Key 61 Otsu left in terms of the Talisman series for Japan, and then we can move on to China, where ironically I have the Key 61 Otsu in that tech tree with a Talisman. Thanks, Gaijin. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys off. I hope you enjoyed today's video on the D4Y2. Like I say, it was 2 battles because I just thought the first battle wasn't particularly long, and it's not really fair to just have 4 minutes of gameplay after getting slaughtered. So I thought I'll do 2, and well, that's just the way it is sometimes. But like I say, it can work as a fighter, although I would personally recommend playing it in a squad because it just can't do much with just 800 rounds. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys off, and I'll catch you all on the next one.